Ever wonder about the link between Rover, Land Rover and Range Rover? And where does Jaguar fit in? The brand name grew out of the Rover safety bicycle of 1885. Before long, the company building the Rover bike developed a powered version, the Imperial motorcycle. Just 2 years later, the manufacturer, Starley & Sutton, branched into car production. In the years after World War I, the Rover name became synonymous with passenger cars. War broke out again, and although one of two factories working on aero engines and airframes was badly damaged, Rover still managed to become a key contributor to the British war effort, helping develop the Cromwell medium tank. Said to be inspired by the American Jeep that had been left behind in the thousands by US forces, Rover developed a new vehicle suitable for farmers. This vehicle was the original Land Rover of 1948. Between the two world wars, a couple of motorcycle enthusiasts formed a company that began building sports cars. In 1935, introduced the SS Jaguar. At the conclusion of the Second World War, the Board of Management for SS Cars changed the company name to Jaguar. This disassociated the company from the infamous German Schutzstaffel of the German Nazi Party. Success in motor racing during the 50s led to the exotic and affordable Jaguar E-Type in the 1960s. This was the car that established the Jaguar name as a global brand. In 1966, Jaguar was incorporated with other British brands under the BMC umbrella. Just a year later, Leyland merged with BMC to form British Leyland. The brand soon became notorious for its poor design, engineering and build quality, not to mention indifferent management and a militant unionised workforce. In 1970, Rover introduced a new model line, the Range Rover. Much more refined and luxurious, the Range Rover was the prototype for the modern SUV and achieved immediate critical and commercial success. It was fitted with a lightweight aluminium V8 that had been powering Rover's passenger sedans and was based on a Buick design that had been unsuitable for the GM brand's high-volume business model. British Leyland was partly nationalised by the UK government in 1975. And in 1978, Rover made Land Rover a company in its own right, not just a model line. Land Rover remained part of the British Leyland Corporation, but was now distinct from former parent Rover. The prestigious Range Rover remained a model line only. Rover formed a cooperative alliance with Honda during the 1980s for the development of new passenger cars to replace ageing designs like the SD1. In 1984, Jaguar demerged from British Leyland and went its own way under the leadership of maverick business leader John Egan. Land Rover was buoyed by the sales success of the Range Rover during the 1980s, but was sold by the British government, along with Rover, to British Aerospace and Honda. The new corporation was known as Rover Group. BAE and Honda subsequently sold Rover and Land Rover to BMW in 1994. But the relationship between corporate masters and the British car manufacturers was troubled from the word go. During the 1990s, Rover developed the 75, a front-wheel drive car promoted as the spiritual successor to the SD1, but with plenty of BMW DNA and Rover's K-Series V6 from the days of its Honda alliance. Ford established its Premier Automotive Group in 1999, pulling together a basket of luxury brands that comprised Aston Martin, Jaguar and Volvo. Admitting defeat, BMW in 2000 sold Land Rover, one British brand actually making money at the time. Ford became the new owner of the Rover brand and added Land Rover to the Premier Automotive Group. Immediately, Ford directed the PAG member companies to share parts and engineering resource. By 2007, both the Jaguar X-Type and the Land Rover Freelander 2 were running on Ford platforms powered by Ford engines. Rover soldiered on with affiliate brand MG, hemorrhaging money.
Rover's administrators have revealed that the company is losing £25 million a month.
Before the beleaguered group was acquired by Chinese group SAIC. Foreseeing trouble ahead for the global economy, Ford CEO Alan Mulally announced Ford would sell Jaguar and Land Rover as one business unit. The new owner was Indian company Tata. And that's how two companies that started out as Swallow sidecars and Starley & Sutton came to be the operation we know today as Jaguar Land Rover, two iconic British brands owned by an Indian corporate giant.